Marfoogle TV going live in 3, 2.
Way out, we found a way out, we found a way out, we found a way.
All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam, a.k.a. Marf, and this is Marfoogle TV. We're going to go into exactly what we thought was going to be happening, which is a war with Venezuela, / a war with Russia, / a war with China, / with everything else that's happening right now. An approval by the Senate. There's an actual vote that happened that actually allows us to potentially go to war with Venezuela without consulting Congress. Again, the Senate has voted to allow the president to launch a conflict against Maduro regime without consulting Congress. All eyes are on his Secretary of State. Now, this is about Marco Rubio because he potentially holds the key to whether this happens or not. According to Nicolas Maduro, the strongman leader of Venezuela, there's one man responsible for the armada of American warships assembled off his country's Caribbean coast. President Trump may be his U.S. commander-in-chief, but his Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, is widely seen as driving the Trump administration's belligerent approach towards Venezuela. Their words, not mine. Again, they said, Mr. President Donald Trump, watch out because Mr. Rubio wants to stain your hands with blood. Mr. Maduro said on Thursday, senators voted 51-49 to allow the president to start a conflict against Venezuela without consulting Congress. Rubio played a pivotal role in convincing wavering senators, meaning that the president has a free hand to attack Venezuela wherever. I'm not coming at this from an angle whether I disagree or agree with this. What I'm telling you is this is news from a prepper standpoint, and I hope that all of you are prepping because things may very well go south, and especially with Russia saying that they are going to back up Venezuela. Not to mention the kind of war that we've been talking about and seen the signs coming for China, Russia, Iran, South Korea, North Korea, of course, and now you have Venezuela and Guyana and Venezuela in the U.S. It's insane. So we'll talk about this all not only on this show but on our next. All right, before we move on, I do want to remind you guys, make sure to go check out marfooglenews.com/EMP. This is where you can get your hands on an EMP shield. You cannot buy this at the stores. This is a device, the same company and tech that is used by agencies like DHS, Department of Homeland Security. They are quietly ramping up their protection. Again, DOD, now Department of War, Air Force, FBI. The list goes on. This will protect your cars, trucks, motorcycles, boats, generators, gas and solar, and your home, your Starlink, your modems. They have a device for everything. Go to marfooglenews.com/EMP and make sure to use a code MARF. This will also protect against any kind of solar event. It will ground the signal in less than 500 trillionths of a second before you have fried your device. All right, let's bring in my co/internet brother, Dex James. What is going on and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
All right, so first of all, we've got the senators voting for this whole Venezuela thing. Now Russia has spoke up. What did they say?
Yeah, so it's just the foreign ministry spokeswoman, Maria Zakharova, but she said on Friday she was reaffirming that Moscow's support for the Venezuelan leadership in defending national sovereignty against the rising tensions with the U.S. So in response to media reports claiming the U.S. administration has at least 3 plans for military intervention and a forced change of power in Venezuela, Zakharova said at a press briefing in Moscow that Russia is in constant contact with the Venezuelan authorities. She warned that any U.S. military action against Venezuela would escalate the situation rather than resolve problems. Moscow has consistently argued that any escalation only leads to ever bigger problems. She added, there are different tactics. There are different ways of doing things, but it is obvious that what several American observers expect and figures in various structures are saying is that such direct aggression will lead to worsening of the situation rather than resolving these problematic issues. So, she's basically saying it's not a good thing, but it's not like they said, if you attack them, we're attacking. We know that there's, an alliance there, but it doesn't seem like there's necessarily a direct threat that they're going to take action against, they being Russia, are going to take action against the U.S. if the U.S. does something. Just words right now.
See, there's other officials that are speaking up right now. I believe, and my prediction is in the next 3 days, that Russia is going to chime in a lot more. They're going to hint, and what they do is they carefully word their kind of support in a way that you can't really say that they're 100% going to back them. I believe they will back them if we do end up going in, unless like I said the other night, we would wake up one morning and Maduro is just replaced. That is something that the U.S. could do. That is what they got approval for the CIA to go in. Same, same kind of approval that they just gave to agencies to possibly go in and take out cartels in Mexico. When you see those kind of approvals being asked for, you know that they're up to something. It's kind of crazy that we even find out after they ask that kind of stuff, because then you know there's an operation going on. We're going to talk about that and much, much more tonight later as well. But this is absolutely nuts. Norway transport firm steps up controls after tests show that Chinese-made buses can be halted remotely. Now, we have told you about this. This has been in almost every warning when we talk about the energy solar generators we're affiliated with. We talk about the fact that they're made for the U.S. Army and they don't have back doors in them. They're front-loaded in the U.S. because there's a lot of stuff right now that is actually loaded and software-driven that is made in China. Now, in this case, they're saying that they can remotely halt the buses. A leading Norwegian public transport operator has said that it will introduce stricter security requirements and step up anti-hacking measures after a test on a new Chinese-made electric bus showed that the manufacturer could remotely turn it off. Transport operator Reuter said that the test results published last week showed that the Chinese bus maker Yutong Group had access to their control systems for software updates and diagnostics. In theory, this could be exploited to affect the bus. Now, this is a loophole that almost all of these different companies use, and if you look up Yutong and any of the other big companies, they have kind of this, I forget if they call it a golden ticket, but they have a connection with the government through the fact that they are a big enough company that the actual, CCP has asked them for a cut of their progress. And if they have to do business in China, then they have to deal with the CCP. So this is something that you really got to pay attention to. What some experts think is that when the big war happens, that a lot of devices and the things that we have just gobbled up at cheap prices from China are just going to go kaput and turn off, including the story we covered where about 80% of our, our West Coast, essentially a huge chunk of our cranes had a software exploit in them that essentially the same thing, where they could potentially be hacked and control our cranes that bring in all of our imports and exports, or put our imports out and our exports in. And vice versa. You guys get what I mean. So this is something that really, really should be paid attention to. It's one of many. We've covered hundreds of these stories now. Think about it. Every single night, and probably two a week. Two every week, just for the last 3 weeks. So again, make sure to go check out marfooglenews.com for a full bibliography. If you don't believe us, go check our sources. And again, follow us on the next show. We're going to talk about the rest of this. War on NATO. Again, this is something that we're talking about, Russia and NATO right now. You got to join us. If you're in the chat, just stay there. If you're watching the replay, all you have to do is click here. We'll see you in just a minute over on Marfoogle TV.
We found a way out. We found a way out. Way out, way out. We found a way out. We found a way out.